All right, let's talk about something that's going to completely change the way you read. And I'm not just talking about reading faster. I mean reading deeper and actually remembering what you've learned. So let's dive right in.
So let me just ask you something. Think about the last book you finished, or maybe a big article you spent time on. Right now, off the top of your head, could you explain its main core idea in a couple of sentences? If you're pausing right now, you are definitely not alone. It happens to pretty much all of us. We put in the hours reading, and then, poof, the information just seems to fade away.
You know, the thinking behind this whole explainer puts it pretty bluntly. If you don't remember it, you haven't truly read it. It's not about letting words just wash over you. It's about making that knowledge a real part of who you are.
So let's really nail down what the problem is here. We are all living in this age of just information overload. It's kind of like being dropped into the middle of a dense jungle with no map and no compass. We just wander from one thing to the next, book, article, whatever, but we don't have a clear path that leads to actual understanding.
This slide just gets right to the heart of it. On one side, you've got reading for quantity. The goal here is just to rack up a score, right? I read 50 books this year, but the result? We forget most of it. Then, on the other side, you've got reading for quality. Here, the goal has nothing to do with numbers. It's about genuine understanding, the kind that actually changes how you think and act. It's about making that shift from being someone who just reads a lot to becoming someone who really grows through books.
So how do we find our way out of this jungle? Well, we need a map, and that's exactly what we're going to build. A super simple but incredibly powerful treasure map that I'm calling the 3-in-1 method. And believe it or not, it all comes down to just two numbers.
The first number you need to burn into your brain is 3. Every single time you read something, a chapter, an article, you name it, your first mission is to go on a hunt for 3 very specific things.
And what are those things? They're keywords. 3 keywords. Think of these as the major landmarks on your treasure map. They're the clues that point you closer and closer to the treasure. The second number is even easier. It's 1. So, once you've found your 3 landmarks, your next job is to find the single thing that they all lead to. And that one thing is one core sentence. This is the treasure itself. A single sentence that holds the entire essence, the entire soul of what you just read. So 3 keywords to guide you, and one core sentence as the prize. That's it. That's the whole map. So, what really is a keyword? Well, think of it like this. Imagine an author's argument is a building. The keywords are the main support beams holding the whole thing up. If you can find those beams, you can understand the entire structure.
Okay, that sounds great, but how do we actually find these keywords? I promise, it's not a guessing game. There's a real system for hunting down these clues. Let's break it down step by step.
The whole process is a simple 3-pass system. The first time you read, just read. Get a feel for it, don't highlight, don't underline, don't do anything. On the second pass, now you can start circling words that just jump out at you, the ones that feel important. Then, on the third and final pass, you look at everything you circled and you force yourself, and this is key, you force yourself to pick only the 3 most essential words. That's the hard part, but that distillation process is where the magic really happens.
But you know, how do you even know which words are important? Well, you're looking for some classic clues. First up, repetition. Are there words the author uses over and over and over? Do they tie directly to the title of the piece? Also, look for those core nouns and verbs that are doing all the heavy lifting. And sometimes, the author just hands it to you with phrases like, the most important thing is, or the key is.
All right, enough talk. Let's do a quick workshop. Here's a short paragraph, read it through and just start thinking, what are the key words here?
So, what do you think? Based on everything, repetition, the main topic, the problem they're setting up, which 3 words are really holding this paragraph together? Take a second. Go ahead. Pause if you need to. And here they are. Smartphones. That's a no-brainer. It's our main subject. Convenience is the key benefit that tells us the positive impact. And addiction. That word defines the core problem. See? With just those 3 words, smartphones, convenience, addiction, you've basically captured the entire push and pull of the paragraph. That is the power of this.
Okay, so we have our keys, our 3 keywords. Now it's time to go find the treasure chest they unlock, that single core sentence.
And just like with keywords, there are some pretty common hiding spots for the core sentence. Very often, it's either the very first sentence, the topic sentence, or the very last one, where everything gets summed up. And you have to keep an eye out for signal words, words like therefore, ultimately, or in conclusion.
I mean, they're practically waving a giant flag saying, hey, the main point is right here.
Okay, round 2. Let's do another quick workshop. Read through this paragraph about diet fads. Where do you think the author's real main point is hiding?
Can you see it? Remember those clues we just talked about. Check the beginning, check the and look for any of those signal words.
And there it is, the last sentence. It even starts with that signal word, ultimately. And it perfectly wraps up the solution to all the problems that came before it. That one sentence right there, that's the treasure. It's the one thing you absolutely need to remember from this paragraph.
So, we found the keywords, we found the core sentence, we have the treasure. Now what? What do we actually do with it? Well, this is the part where this simple reading trick transforms into a genuine learning superpower.
Look, this is so much bigger than just remembering what you read. Once you master this 3-in-1 method, you can break down any piece of information. You can boil down a dense textbook chapter to ace your exam. You can write a work report or an email that actually gets straight to the point. You can finally explain that book you read last month perfectly to your friend because you already found its treasure.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. The very next thing you read, I don't care if it's an online article, a report for work, a chapter in a book, don't just read it. Hunt for the treasure. Go find its 3 keywords and its 1 core sentence. Because when you start doing that, you're not just reading anymore. You're truly understanding.